What's up, AtoZSports Live, the post-game show. The Titans blow a whole game lead. Had the lead at the end of the first quarter, the second quarter, at the end of the third quarter. The Saints take a lead 27-26, and then they add on another touchdown. 34-26 is the final score. The Titans cannot win 2 games in a row. The Saints do win 4 games in a row. Cam Ward looked great in the first half. Tyler Shuck looked great in the second half, and we'll discuss what we think Cam Ward looked like in the second half. The Titans had a couple chances there at the end of the game to get a touchdown to potentially tie with a 2-point conversion, but could not convert in many times. And also, don't forget the points that were spotted on the board to the Saints to got them going by Cam Ward. So we're going to have a very interesting post-game show to discuss what everybody thinks. We have our one-word segment, our drive of the game where everything changed. We'll grade Cam Ward, which is guaranteed to be a battle royale between me, JT, and the chat. I don't know how many different sides there might be. There might be 5 different teams in that battle royale quarterback grades, but we're going to do it all as the Titans drop to 3-13 on the season. I will also update the draft order situation as the Titans did get a win there, actually twice today. So we'll discuss all of these things. JT, what's up? Welcome in. Let's get this thing off and rolling.
Yeah, what's up? This was a game for sure.
We did say it was going to be a wild one.
We did say you said it was going to be a wild one. I said it was going to be a weird one, and it was for sure wild and weird. At least it was exciting. I'll give Bustin that one. For the most of the game, it wasn't like you were able to go into a different room and not really check up. You were pretty much on the edge of your seat the entire time, but we will talk about everything that happened, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly here in 1 second, but need a couple things from you guys before we get started. First and foremost, hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content we're bringing you or when we go live. It also helps the algorithms that put this show on as many Titans fans feeds as possible. If you're on Facebook as well, we appreciate you over there. Hit that like button, like the page, and share the show with a friend who wants to debrief after a Titans game that it was pretty much, you can't really describe it as anything other than a collapse. It was certainly a game that you felt like they had a good pulse on. We went into the halftime with the Titans having a 77.5% chance.
Oh man, I cannot wait to see where that changed the most.
We will see how that changed, but an ugly second half there, which is not unusual for the Titans, but the fact that it sustained like it did in that second half is something we definitely will be jumping into. So let's get it going.
So officially welcome to AtoZSports, our Titan Game Day show. Want to give a quick shout out to all of our great sponsors this entire season. We got one more game left after tonight, but we'll get it going here. X Golf, Nashville, Murfreesboro, Hermitage, and Franklin, the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. To find out more about their winter leagues, to keep that golf game sharp this winter, head to playxgolf.com. BTA Sports, use the code AtoZSports when you download the BTA Sports app to get a 14-day free trial and then a 12-month subscription for $79. Use the link in the description. Botero Carts, life is short. Get yourself a golf cart. 2 locations, Columbia and Gallatin. Lipscomb University Sports Analytics, turning your passion into a career with their grad program. The Barrel Social Club, real poker, real players. The Barrel Social Club is Kentucky and Tennessee's poker destination. And T-Dot's Nobody Trashes Tennessee campaign. Be part of the solution to end littering at nobodytrashestennessee.com. So, Cam Ward was great in the first half. Cam Ward was not great in the second half. Tyler Shuck was not good in the first half. Tyler Shuck was great in the second half. The Saints win 34-26. Another thing that was bad in the first half, the Saints running game. And it was pretty good in the second half because Audric Estime has that runaway touchdown there at the end of the game to basically put that up to an 8-point score with 3 minutes, 44 seconds left, 32-yard rush for Estime. The Titans had multiple possessions to try to get a touchdown to tie, but could not do that. There's a lot of things to unpack here. The Cam Ward 4th down completion to Tajay, and then it was overturned by the instant review. His knee was down. That's a tough one because that is a ridiculously talented play. That is amazing to have the ability to get that out there and do that. And Tajay is the right person to catch that and sprint away for as many yards as he could to keep the Titans alive. It's one of those things where you're like, damn it, why does technology have to come in and ruin a moment like that? But it was the correct thing. His knee did hit the ground, so he was down. So if people were Saints fans, they'd probably be screaming. His knee was down. But a lot to unpack here. The Titans do drop to 3-13 on the season. And this might be one of the more disappointing losses of the season. I mean, I don't want to go too deep into that, but JT, I'm kind of curious what you think because the Titans had a 20-10 halftime lead and then outscored in the second half 24-6. That's awful.
Yeah, it's not good. And there's a lot of blame to be thrown around. You look at what the defense did in the second half. It's something that I talked about in our whirlwind of a halftime show that, the only real offensive positive plays the Saints were able to get in that first half was Kellen Moore finally figuring out, oh, wait, this Titans secondary is not good. Let me just throw the ball to Chris Olave and things will be okay. It certainly seems like they went into the halftime and said, yeah, this Titans secondary is so gettable. And they looked like a totally different team. They really showed the Titans defense that they were the better group of offensive skill players out there. Chris Olave goes nuclear in the second half. Everybody on that team. The Titans could not find a way to tackle anybody on Dante Pettis, of all people, except for that bounce that gets them the turnover there. It was a very pitiful performance by the defense in the second half, which shouldn't be surprising. We've seen that many times, time and time again. They come out of halftime just looking absolutely flat and looking just totally like a different team with not a lot of energy, except this time it kind of extended past the first drive of that second half into the rest of the game because they just have not a lot of NFL caliber players back there. It is so depleted right now that as much as they didn't look like they had the energy and they didn't have the juice that you need on defense like they did in the first half, it also is the players are just the players, and the players that they have out there are a replacement level. I continue to liken them to a upstart team, a team just coming into the league with a draft, and that is where they are right now. And it's unfortunate because then you put the offense in the position of, as they continue to score more and more points faster and faster, you can't exactly continue to do what you wanted to do, which was run the ball. And you put Cam Ward and this Titans offense in a position that they didn't want to be in, which is to throw the ball a lot in the second half, which then leads to the Titans offensive line just getting absolutely worked in the fourth quarter. And all of these things.
Titans, look, there's a lot to jump into. And so, I don't know if the Titans offensive line got worked in the second half. I think there were clear passing downs where the Titans offensive line lost because the Saints have a pretty good couple of defensive linemen out there. And Alontae Taylor, my God, Alontae Taylor looking like he's freaking the combination of Troy Polamalu and Deion Sanders, the way he's out there playing all over the place, making plays, former Vol right there. But I think Cam Ward had a lot of time to throw at times. Whether he couldn't find anybody open, didn't like what he saw, but he was standing back there looking like he was, flat-footed, kind of like chilling like he was in the backyard, and that's just not going to do anything.
The third quarter especially. Something changed, though, I feel like, and it is they just were able to, once you start scoring them as many points as the Saints did, they were starting to be able to just tee off on Cam Ward there at the end. And so the bigger point I'm trying to make here is that the Titans defense put Cam Ward in the offense in a really, really tough position that essentially taints Cam Ward's career day. I think is the best way that I can put it. I
also think Cam Ward tainted his own career day.
That's fair. And we will get into that here in a second. But like the day that he was having was affected inadvertently by the defense's inability to make a stop.
Right. So I think there's that to address. The Titans defense is awful because they're
Yes.
playing defensive backs that just got there. Like that's
Yes.
shouldn't be a surprise to anybody at all, because like I just watched the game. We all just watched the game. I don't remember the number 40's name. I just like I got right now in the moment. I have to look it up because it's that meaningless.
Is that
no offense.
Keemon Hall?
Yeah, Keemon Hall. Yeah, Hall. I almost said Hill, right? Because it doesn't matter. He was here like he's got Chet here like 10 days ago, right? Kendall Brooks has been here for a bit. He plays some snaps that are pretty impressive. Then he plays some snaps where he looks like Kendall Brooks is supposed to look like. You know, you've got Elam out there, former first-round pick bust, one of the biggest busts of recent first-round draft history. You know, recovering a fumble in the end zone, and then he's also getting beat because he's a first-round pick bust. Right. So, like, I don't even know if anybody knows where Keemon Hall went or came from. Where did they get him from? What school did he go to? What was he drafted? Nobody knows. And so,
I have no idea.
Exactly. It's like they're that bad. And Burning Devil saying the secondary lost the Titans the game. Yeah. Because there are a bunch of guys out there trying to scratch and claw and do everything they can. Like the effort is there. I think you have to be impressed by how these Titans are playing. They're just not very good right now. And as bad as the secondary was, the Titans offense also continued to come up short and could not trade punches with Tyler Shuck and the Saints offense, who all of a sudden couldn't run the ball and then did like they nearly had a 100-yard rusher.
Yeah.
Audric Estime finished with 92 yards.
It was night and day from the first half to the second half, which definitely absolutely puts once again, the thought that this team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, continues to struggle out of half. It was once again, the tempo was absolutely set when Tyler Shuck and company come out of halftime and take less than 4 minutes to get down the field and score. It's the tempo that the Titans did not want to play with. And it's unfortunately is the thing that happens. And what I was referring to earlier is an expansion roster. It is essentially an expansion roster because half the guys playing on the secondary, whether it is because of injury, a lot of it is because of injury or just out of necessity. Like you are playing back there at least 4 guys who were not on this team in week 6. And that's just kind of the reality of the situation right now. And so it's tough. And credit to Tyler Shuck in the Saints offense. They came alive and they took their advantages and their opportunities where they could. And it's just unfortunate that the Titans could not muster up enough offensive success in the second half to continue to keep them in this game.
No doubt. All right, let's get to our one-word segment here. What is one word to describe the Titans' loss to the Saints? What is one word to describe the Titans' loss to the Saints? The final score 34-26, outscored 24-6 in the second half. So we'll get to your one words here in a moment. But first, let's tell everybody about our friends at TDOT. NobodyTrashesTennessee.com is the website, and that is the campaign to end littering across the state of Tennessee. There's over 80 million pieces of litter. It's nuts. Who's counting all that stuff? 80 million pieces of litter on our roadways, our highways to be specific, and we can all do our part to do better. So you can learn. Go NobodyTrashesTennessee.com. Learn how you can maybe fix some of your bad habits that you don't even realize you have right now, whether it's the TARP rules, the TARP laws, helping with local cleanups around your community, having your son or daughter who are looking for those volunteer opportunities in their youth to become more involved in the community right there with TDOT. And so go check them out online. NobodyTrashesTennessee.com is the website. Check them out there. NobodyTrashesTennessee.com is where to go. So, JT, I'll send you to the comment section. What's one word to describe the Titans' loss to the Saints? It was a 34-26 loss after leading basically the whole game. What are you seeing in the chat?
Yeah, B-Birds kicks us off and says it was infuriating. Jeez, I cannot even talk now. Infuriating is what the word is there. Mostly because I was looking to go to the next word here from Gary, which I was trying to figure out how to say in my head, which I believe is incondite, which I also have looked up, which means poorly constructed, crude, or rough. Already a leader in the clubhouse for word of the day there. From the thesaurus. Depleted says I'm what's popular. DBs says HR Cash. Open says Shane Lee Gibbs. Conservative, says Bryce. Conflicted, says Titan there. Entertaining, says Eric. Loser, says Walker. Suspect, collapse. Self-inflicted. Awesome, says MB. Maybe someone looking for the tank there. Roy says choke. Entertaining. Talent. Grip. Cam needs to learn to grip the ball, says Jeff there.
Not wrong.
The Bear says ball security. Sad. Youth. Excitement. Secondary. Shucked. The Titans did get shucked there in the final half of the game. Inconsequential, says Mike Peck. Optimistic. Secondary. Porous. Broken. Patient. Deficit. Foreseeable. Draft. Secondary. Shucks. Aw, shucks there, which is a fair one there. A lot of different ideas and opinions on this game, but once again, I'm glad I only did the first part, because now we're starting to get the expecteds and the classic. No, we're not doing those today. We need better words than that. Do you want to go with your one word first?
I'm trying to nail down I'm trying to just narrow in on the word, because I've got the concept. Yeah. I'm just I
will go with mine. I'm gonna go bipolar. This was a team that was night and day, manic in the first half, looking really, really good, lifeless and depressing in the second half. They looked like two different personalities, two different moods in this game. I think you can say it for really every part of this game. I think every single part of this Titans team looked bipolar. The offensive play calling from first half to second half looked night and day different. The defensive output from the two halves looked totally different. Cam Ward's showing and day looked totally different from the first half to the second half. Everything from this Titans team really felt like you were watching two different people in the same body. You were seeing the highs of the first half, and Cam Ward's about to have his career day, and the lows of the Titans defense essentially collapsing and wasting all of it. And so I'm going to go with bipolar as my word.
I was thinking about something, and I might come back to that in a different way, but I think collapse is the appropriate word to use for this game, for this particular game. I see rookie just says unqualified. I think that's a good one too. This is a collapse. Like, they had this game and just absolutely ready to play. And like, you guys can go all you want about the defense, lost it. This was a complimentary football collapse. It was offense, it was defense. Special teams did their part. There was no bad special teams, but offense and defense, nobody could do anything to a sustainable level in the second half. A complete collapse all the way around. Bad tackling, couldn't complete passes, penalties on offense, unable to run the ball consistently in the second half too. Getting yourself in third and long situations where you have to have magic from Cam Ward to just convert something. We're going to get into more stats about Cam Ward, but his second half was awful. It was really bad, guys. And I talked about how I could remember off the top of my head in the halftime show. I said, I can remember off the top of my head his 4 incompletions, because he only had 4 of them. 2 of them were throwaways. One of them was off Zeitler's helmet. The other one was a couple misses to Iamaner and DK. But that's it. Like, it's a good thing when there's so few incompletions, you can remember them all. But in the second half, that wasn't the case at all, because he was objectively bad. Because in the second half, I think there were 15 incompletions compared to his 4 incompletions in the first half.
Yeah, I think there were more. I remember in the second half, more of the balls being thrown out of bounds than there were in bounds. Let's just start.
And sometimes it took him forever to get out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's also, it is fair to say that the weapons that really showed up for Cam Ward in the second half, the notable ones were Mason Kinsey and a play to James Prochet that almost got picked off. Like, the weapons for Cam also just did not ever come into fruition there in the second half. And so that also leads to it. But yeah, you talk about the different in how those incompletions happened. A few turnover-worthy plays there towards the end, which are balls that are, I feel like, are more uncharacteristic for Cam Ward. It certainly felt like he was pressing a lot of recent. He was pressing a lot more, being a little bit more desperate with the football towards the end of the game, which you kind of, the defense kind of put him in that hole. But even before that, there were a couple plays that just kind of, you shake your head and ask, why are we seeing the field this way now? And so, yeah, it was once again night and day for the Titans as a whole. Cam Ward is absolutely included in that. And it's all just, once again, this Saints team coming in was a white hot Saints team, took the first half to really get going, but then once they understood that they could impose their will with Chris Olave down the field and then kind of keep the defense on the field as so much as then you can just kind of run the ball down the throat of Keemon Hall and the rest of this expansion roster, it was going to be hard for them to really keep up.
Definitely. DJ Silent says, why don't you two, taking shots at us, ever talk about the reason why he was so bad was no one could get open? Like, and again, DJ Silent, I don't know if you got the accelerated copy of the All-22, if you were at the game, because that's the only way you know. Because us watching on TV, you don't know. You can assume, you can guess, but unless you're there watching pass catchers options down the field, like there's a pretty good chance that you're not wrong. There's a pretty good chance that Cam missed some. There's a good chance that guys could not get open. Alontae Taylor was a freaking beast today, again, ×2. There's the play calling was odd. Like, why can't Gunnar Helm get involved the last couple of weeks? The screens, Taylor busted one up, nearly had a pick six on one of them. But there was a lot of throwing the ball out of bounds. And I just saw Easton texted us this, but from Next Gen Stats, Cam Ward average time to throw of 4.07 seconds in the Titans' loss to the Saints is the longest by any quarterback in a game in the Next Gen Stats era.
That's crazy.
Ever. And that era started in 2016. So that's 10 seasons. The longest in 10 seasons of any NFL quarterback. 4.07 seconds. So what's the phrase that DBs always say? Man, I can't cover forever. Like, you can't cover him forever. I can't cover for 5 seconds.
And I refuse. Yeah, if it is the longest average time to throw ever, I refuse to believe that Chimere Dike and all these guys are that bad that it's taking them more than 4 seconds to get over.
Dom says that's not real. Okay,
that's not real. Okay, and Next Gen Stats is incorrect. So
yes, it's just the fact that 4.07 seconds is the average time, which means there are a lot that are way longer than that.
Yeah, I mean, the
last play was a Hail Mary. That is something that's supposed to take that long. But, like, that's one thing. He dropped back to throw. Cam had 40 pass attempts. He was sacked 4 times. And then he ran the ball twice. So that is 46 pass attempts to 26 run plays. That is the opposite that the Titans
what you wanted to do.
The opposite. They would rather run the ball 40 times and throw the ball 26 to 30 times.
And that's kind of the problem, right? When the defense starts to break down as much as they did in that second half, you wanted to continue to impose your will and run the ball with Tony Pollard. But as they continue to score more and more points on you, and they're doing so with drives that aren't taking a lot of time, it becomes a problem. And you have to then kind of ramp back up and keep the type of tempo that you want to play with. You got to regulate that again. And the Titans just couldn't regulate that with what they were doing. And that included some pretty bad bubble screens once again, which they decided to show up in the second half. Not sure why. I'm pretty sure they were doing just fine without him, but and also just not being able to really find those down the field plays. They had the Mason Kinsey one, but outside of that, there weren't as many shots that were going downfield for plus yardage.
For sure. All right, AtoZSports here live. We've gone through our one-word segment. I think we should go ahead and grade Cam Ward because that's the natural conversation of where we're at right now. Grading Cam Ward. How do you grade Cam Ward's performance for the Titans versus the Saints? I will read you his full stats. So Cam Ward versus Saints, how do you grade him? He was 21 of 40 passing for 251 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, sacked 4 times. He did fumble once that he lost. Then he ran the ball twice for 10 yards on those scrambles. So how do you grade Cam Ward's stats? We'll get to your answers, your grades on this one. I'm sure this will be an interesting battle here. But first, I'm going to tell you guys about BTA Sports, better for bettors. How about a couple wins that we had on BTA Sports?
Yes,
Because I loved the over, so did BTA Sports. Easy button. Easy right there. JT, you posted Tony Pollard over 69 yards, right?
Yeah,
that was fairly easy. That was fairly easy as well. BTA Sports loved both of those plays, and we were winners of that. BTA Sports also liked Saints -6. That was what they projected the score margin to be. They hit that one too. So BTA Sports could win you some money right there. Use the code ATOZSports. That's ATOZSports to download the BTA Sports app. You get a 14-day free trial and then a 12-month subscription for $79. You're going to make your money back. I did today, but I already did that like back in week 2. I've made my money like, I don't know how many times. But many times over for sure. BTA Sports, better for bettors. Okay, so Cam Ward threw for 251 yards, 21 out of 40, 2 touchdowns for 4 games in a row, sacked 4 times there. No interceptions, but did have the fumble that was returned by Chase Young for a touchdown. So how do you grade Cam Ward? What are you seeing here from the chat, JT?
Yeah, Titanomics kicks us off here with a C. Jake with a B. Anthony says B-. Jake says B again. He's spamming that chat right there, trying to get as many B's as possible into here. C+, solid B, says Darian. B- says Shane. Cause says C. Joseph says B. HR Cash says B. North Star says C. Jamie says B+. Jason with a B-. Johnny says solid B, had ups and downs, but he is a magician, I guess, is what he's calling him. Curtis with a B. Dylan with a C. Cole with a C-. Ken with a B-. Tim with the B. Richie with the C. B+, C. B-Birds with a D, lowest grade so far there. Randy with a C. C+ from Dom. D+ from Gary. C- from Caesar. B- from Alex. We are very much closer to the B-ish range. Mike says C+, but as close to a B as possible. Maybe a B- as possible. C-, C. Jeff with a C. B-, B. Dedret says first half A+, second half D. So composite C- for him there. C+, C-, B-. We're certainly hanging around that B and C area.
Yeah. So to split the stats up there, because D-Red just brought up the first to second half split. He had 11 completions in the first half. He was 11 for 15 for 146 in the first half. So I'm going to do his second half yards real fast. Excuse me, just to get the numbers right. I was right. So 11 of 15 for 146 in the first half. In the second half, he was 10 of 25 for 105.
It's rough. It's real
miserable. Yeah. And then in the first half, in the first half, what doesn't go on that box score is the defensive pass interference ball that he threw to DK, which if there wasn't a DPI, would have been a brilliant deep ball touchdown to DK because it was a great throw. But you don't see those penalty yards in the first half numbers. But that should be there, in my opinion. You should get credit for that situation. But
he should get credit for that. And then
10 of 25 for 105 in the second half, gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
And the way some of those incompletions happened with the turnover-worthy plays and things like that, some plays that should have been intercepted, in 105 in the second with 35 on the Kinsey. Absolutely.
That you just got a field goal out of?
Yes. Right. That is also a big problem there in this game. I mean, you can't, that second half, I mean, just objectively looking at those numbers, taking any quarterback out of it, that is a D performance from a quarterback. Mix that in with a I would say like an A performance in the first half. I was sitting here at halftime saying like this could be the first A that Cam Ward has, because in the first half he was absolutely being a tractor quarterback. He was somebody who was elevating this offense and taking them down the field with some big time plays, not even including the one to Chimere Dike, which was the pass interference call there. He was being a tractor quarterback, and he was being a big reason as to why they were winning, not just because Tony Pollard was running all over the Saints. He was very much involved. And so I was on the fence of giving him at that moment an A. Like, that's where I was. And the second half continued to beat that down to the point where I don't know if I can give him I don't know if I can give him any better than a C+. Like, there were some good and some bad. It was a fine performance where he showed a lot of flashes. Like, the flashes were really good, but when you're trying to be consistent as a quarterback, that wasn't there. The flashes were there, but there was no consistency to be found.
I'm going to say it like this. Cam Ward deserves and earned a C+ grade today, because he also gave the Saints 7 points with the Chase Young strip sack return for a touchdown. But Cam Ward's performance made me even more encouraged about the future.
Oh, absolutely.
Time, right? Like, so I think it's like the second half was atrocious. It was gross. It was ugly football. But I'm still more encouraged because it happened.
Yes. I think that's fair. I think you look at what he was able to do with some of those flashes, some of them that didn't even you look at what he was able to do with some of those flashes, the plays, and wonder, can more of those happen, especially when he is outside the pocket? He was doing a lot of the outside the pocket and finding ways to really be able to get downfield and connect. Yeah. But let's say he has better weapons around him next season. Like, how many more of those do we see on a game-to-game basis?
And like, that's what Anthony says. I understand the second half numbers, but again, what do A to Z want Cam to do with wide receivers not getting open in time that results in throwaways? It's fair. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like Van Jefferson gets hurt in that game. That is an impact for sure, because Van, before getting hurt, he had his third catch, which had him go for 3 for 46. And so true. But hashtag says strip sack wasn't his fault. Moore got destroyed. No, it was his fault. The sack wasn't Cam's fault. The strip sack is Cam's fault. The ball is his, guys. Let's just say this, okay? Can we be honest? When a quarterback gets sacked, sometimes it's his fault. Sometimes it's the O-line's fault. Sometimes it's the secondary. It's the fault of the receiver for not getting open. But when the ball is fumbled, it is the quarterback's fault, right? Yeah. When the ball is fumbled, the quarterback did not protect the football. You're allowed to get sacked without fumbling. So hashtag QJ, get away with that. He fumbled the ball. We've seen it too many times this year. Sacks, whatever. They have their own story. A fumble, his fault. His fault.
Yeah, I mean,
don't
you
baby
are allowed
him
to.
like that.
You are.
He was
I
blindsided.
think you can say that.
Who gives a bleep, rookie? If he was blindsided or not, quarterbacks get hit all the time, get sacked all the time, get hit way harder than Cam did. Hold on to the damn ball. That's the point.
I mean, it also.
And it wasn't Dan Moore's fault either. I'm sorry, JT. You can go ahead.
I don't think it can be understated that Chase Young made a brilliant play as well.
Yes. And Chase Young's a freak.
Yes. But I think you look at some of the things that Cam Ward did.
Tyler Shuck, Tyler Shuck fumbled when Jeff got hit too, right? It's also his fault. That's Tyler Shuck's fault. Just because Tyler Shuck did it doesn't mean Cam Ward's not Cam Ward's fault. That's ridiculous. You got to thank you, Tony. Protect the damn football. And
yeah, I mean,
man, stop it. The man got blindsided. Nobody would have held on that ball. So many quarterbacks hold on to that ball every Sunday. Every Sunday. Yeah. Don't fumble.
Not the play I thought we were going to be talking about. I mean, it is his fault. It's unfortunate. But once again, what goes also into that Cam Ward grade is how he bounced back. And he, as I said in the halftime show, it was very Miami-esque of him to have that play, which is, with him, that is a play that you would really like to have back. And that's a play that we see him have from time to time. But you also saw him do great things on the next drive, kind of flush it and forget it and restart. And that's what was really positive about today's game. It's just unfortunate that you really got put into a situation in the second half that Cam Ward, I don't know if he was able to by himself, nor had the weapons to really come out of that successfully. And so, I mean, it's not exactly his fault. It's not the wide receiver's fault. It's just the reality that we live in right now with the Tennessee Titans is that there is a lot of things to be hopeful, and it's a C+ because you saw him elevate in the first half. He didn't exactly elevate in the second half. You saw the flashes, but also there's absolutely room for him to have more consistent play that isn't just a wow play every single play, because that's what you're also missing with Cam Ward right now. You are missing the very much consistent, normal quarterback play you need to have to be very successful on offense. You're getting the wow plays without very much else.
Yep, for sure. Just the Tank Bowl is going on. The Giants are up 7-3, about halfway into the second quarter on the Tank Bowl over the Raiders. So there's that happening. We'll talk about the draft here in a second. So again, I give Cam Ward a C+. I thought he was not good in the second half, but he was great in the first half. And overall, I'm encouraged at the future by watching Cam Ward play that entire game today. So like it's kind of like I like what I'm seeing over the last 7 games now post bye week, where Cam's put together 10 touchdown passes, 11 total touchdowns, just to 1 interception. Now he's got the other fumble turnover to go into that, and that counts. So, but the last 7 games have been much better for Cam overall. Let's get to some super chats here before we do anything else, because we've got the players of you guys who have put your chips in with the Barrel Social Club. It is Kentucky and Tennessee's destination for poker. The Barrel Social Club is just across the border in Kentucky, about 45 minutes north of Nashville, and 12 poker tables that run tournaments and cash games 7 days a week. There's no limit. Texas Hold'em and Potlam in Omaha. 16 TVs, including the biggest screens, to watch all the games in Franklin, Kentucky, and they're open until 4 a.m. So you've got a lot of things going on, a lot of football being played at all hours of the day, all days of the week right now, with bowl season and the New Year's holiday coming up. Maybe you're still off work. Maybe you're a season pro, or maybe you're just learning how to play playing poker, and you want to go up there across the border to Kentucky to the Barrel Social Club. You absolutely can. Kentucky and Tennessee's poker destination, the Barrel Social Club, right there, 7 days a week till 4 a.m. So super chat time here on the show. We'll start off in chronological order. Elks, that's Big Ten Jeff, says Cam needs grip strength training. My goodness, hard to deny that. Johnny says Cam got the best in-game experience so far this year. Agree.
I think that's fair. You've got the highs and the lows that you're going to experience on a game-to-game basis is what you got this season. It was also the first time I felt this season. It's the first time this season that they really have had the opportunity to put him in that position to go try to win a game. It's happened sometimes. I mean, the Texans game, there was a little bit of that. There were a few others, but those were all games that you were coming from behind in, right? This was a game that you had in your grasp for maybe, I would say, 35, 40 minutes of it.
At least 45 minutes, because they had the lead. I'll tell you exactly. They gave the Saints got their first lead with 6:22 left in the game.
Okay, so around 40-ish minutes.
The Titans extended the lead with 12:50 left in the fourth quarter with a field goal.
I see. Okay,
and that was the 58-yard field goal too. The 28-yard the 28-yard field goal was the tough one, right? Where you had the big play to Kinsey and you couldn't convert it. You had to kick the short field goal just to go up by 6 instead of 10. That was a bummer.
Absolutely. So you put him in that position, and I think that's the first time that he's had this position, and this time he doesn't come out on top, and I think that's a good learning moment for the young quarterback, that when you put him back into this situation next year with hopefully another year under his belt, hopefully better situations, a better situation in general with players around him, coaches, everything that goes into it, you hopefully are going to come out on the other side of that.
Yep, for sure. All right, more super chats. Wandon says the secondary sucks. Need you get a guy at wide receiver. Yep. And yep. The secondary sucks because everybody else has got traded or got hurt.
It's gonna be fascinating. I mean, as much as you need a wide receiver, I'd also argue you need a cornerback just as much, because
But, like,
I mean, you can also go
is,
into free agency with that. And
yeah. It's going to be so much easier to upgrade at corner than wide receiver because you have the bottom of the barrel at corner right now,
Yes.
just because of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've had so many, who were like the 5 corners that made the roster to start in week 1?
Snead,
Snead,
Brownlee,
McCreary, Brownlee. So those 3 guys
McCreary,
I said McCreary.
Marcus Harris,
he's out.
and Darrell Baker.
Okay, so Baker has survived. Knock on wood.
He's the only one who has survived. Yeah.
And then look at safety. You can do the same thing at safety. Amani Hooker survived because you had Xavier Woods, Quandre Diggs, Kevin Winston Jr. wasn't available then. Then now he's out. It's been miserable.
Yes, it has not been good.
They've had 8 injuries, it feels like, in the secondary. So, that's kind of expected. And also, who cares? True Jones says, then why did you just say that Cam was bad when you don't even know that Cam was bad? I think this is in reference to me saying that you don't know the receivers couldn't get open unless you watched the film or you were at the game to see the whole thing. I think you can see on the TV broadcast more about what the quarterback was doing that was good or not good than what the wide receivers were or weren't doing down the field. You can just see the quarterback. So you have a point there, True Jones. I'm not saying you're completely wrong, because we can see if Cam was we can't see if Cam was just missing open guys or if truly nobody was open. But when you have the longest average time to throw in next gen stats life 10 years at 4.07 seconds, and that's not good. You got to be able to do something with it.
You also look at, I mean, I don't know what you would call this. Even after the first drive of the second half that stalled out, the Cam Ward's QBR was 144. It ended the day at 80 something. 88, I think, is the number. Like, things had to happen in this game for him to have his quarterback rating drastically drop. I mean, that is a 60-point drop in a quarter and a half.
Mm-hmm.
It's the result of bad quarterback play.
He also ran a lot. He also ran around a lot. He wasn't sitting in the pocket for those 4 seconds. Yeah, but I also think he ran around a lot, unnecessarily at times. I don't think the offensive line was that. The offensive line wasn't great, but they also weren't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of the game, I thought it was good. It is that fourth quarter to me, and once again, this is something I'll go back and watch. I will. I'll go back and I'll look at some of it, right, and we'll watch the film. But it felt like that the Titans' offensive line was just continuing to get worked at the end of that game.
Yeah, and there were a lot of throwaways, admittedly. Yes, totally. All right. Big Rich says, Austin, isn't this how you wanted the Titans to lose? Yes. Scoring a lot of points.
Bingo.
Giving up more points and losing. All right. Draft board update, because the Titans got 2 wins today. Actually, maybe more than that. I know how to calculate 2 wins. I don't know how to calculate some of these other wins. We'll do that here in a second. The drive of the game that helped the Titans win in the draft. JT, tell us all about our friends at Botero Carts.
Yeah, Botero Carts. Life is short. Got to buy a golf cart and do it with our friends over at Botero Carts. Make it so easy to buy your shiny new golf cart with 2 locations to serve you in the Middle Tennessee area, one in Gallatin, one in Columbia. Carts starting at just $6,700, and they're open 7 days a week with a full service sale and rental dealership. They're locally owned and operated and have no dealer fees, no credit card fees, no hidden fees when you buy your shiny new golf cart. And it's shiny and new because they're all stored indoors, out of the elements, out of the weather. They also have a no credit needed option if you want to take that route. Life is short. You got to buy a golf cart. And when you do, buy it with our friends over at Botero Carts.
All right, I'll get to the update on the situation with the draft board here in a moment. But Jake says, where was Arden Key's drunk ass at? Well, that's offensive to Arden Key. Don't throw that out, Arden. That's not fair. But he did have a back injury where he was out of that game, which I do think impacted things, right? I think not having Arden Key finish that game hurt. Here is the updated board. As of the end of the early slate, the Titans get a couple of dubs because the Cleveland Browns just hold the Steelers with no DK Metcalf to 6 points and win. And the Cleveland Browns go from the third pick all the way down to 6th. What idiots. What are you thinking, Cleveland?
What do you mean? Everybody in Baltimore is going crazy.
I know. When does Cleveland ever want to help Baltimore? I mean, I get it's kind of like, no, if the Browns win, they hurt the Steelers, which they also like to do, but then they help the Ravens, which they don't like to do. But then they also the thing is, they should have just helped themselves, lose. Mm-hmm. Who gives a rip? Right? So they dropped to 6th. The Titans jump from 5th to 4th. The Browns drop below the Cardinals, obviously, because they had the 4th win there. And so now you're going to have, look how close that shrink the schedule is between the Cardinals and the Titans. Crazy. Ooh, it's going to come down because it flip-flopped between the end of the Browns win and the end of the Titans win. It's back and forth, back and forth.
And this Raiders game is also going to be important with the outcome of that will also play into that. The Rams, I guess, could also play into that with the Monday night game.
See, that was the win that I don't know how to explain to anybody is that. Because basically you have to look at the not common opponents between the Titans and the Cardinals. Because if I go down to the bottom of Tankathon, let's see if it'll load for me, because Tankathon's been dealing with some heavy traffic of not loading very well. But I do know that the last tiebreaker is intra-conference play. So it's basically tiebreakers. Tiebreakers, strength of schedule, division tiebreakers. They're not in the same division. Conference tiebreakers, okay. Inter-conference tiebreakers, and then a coin toss. And so you're going to have to look at teams that the Cardinals and Titans don't have in common. The hard thing is they've each played each other's division. So there's a lot of common opponents. And so crazy. I don't even know. My head explodes trying to think of that. But the other win,
very interesting.
Yeah. Yes. The other win the Titans got is that the Browns beat the Steelers. Next week, the Steelers versus the Ravens for the AFC North. The Titans need the Ravens to win that game.
Yep.
To make the playoffs. Plus, Draymond Jones has over 2 sacks since being traded from the Titans for the Titans to have a better draft pick. Going from a 5th round pick to a 4th round pick. It's alive. And guess who is also not available for the Steelers next week because he's an idiot too.
DK Metcalf.
Yep. What a dummy.
Someone asked me, I think earlier this week, what I preferred, a Steelers win so that the Ravens maybe the Ravens maybe fire Harbaugh and the Titans have a chance, or the Steelers win as well so that they have a chance that if Stefanski is fired. And I came to them with a third secret option that was Browns win, Ravens win, you get the draft pick, and the Steelers fire Mike Tomlin, and then you have the best of all 3 worlds. So
that's a good one. I like that a lot.
But yes, we are still alive for the hashtag Draymond watch. We are on Draymond watch next week for that game, which I'm sure will get flexed into something.
That's probably going to be Sunday night because that Steelers Ravens is definitely a bigger draw than Panthers Bucks for that division. So I'm guessing that's a Sunday night game because it's by itself. No other outcomes will be affected. It'll be, are you in as the 4th seed in the AFC or are you at home? So I'm guessing that's a standalone Sunday night game, just like the Titans Colts was back in 2018. That's my prediction on that one. So, yes, the answer to the question from Christopher Newell, yes, Draymond Jones got the 2 sacks needed. That happened last week. So he's at 2.5, I believe. He just needed the 2. So that's a big time win. So the Titans got that. And, again, I don't know how to break down Titans versus Cardinals for the strength of schedule, but I think it's, the 4th pick versus the 5th pick. Right now, the Giants are up 14-3 on the Raiders. So you're not going to jump another 3-win team besides the Cardinals. The Jets and the Giants will be too far away from you. So I don't think you're going to get any higher than the 4th pick unless the Jets or the Giants win again.
Yeah, I guess that's and I mean, if you watched earlier today the Jets play the Patriots, you saw that they gave up. They did not come to play whatsoever. It'll be interesting, right? I think we'll go into next week, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Jaguars will also still be having something to play for, right?
Oh yeah. The Jags. So going.
Well, I guess it
going
depends. It depends when they get scheduled.
Yes,
the games.
Because going into today, and they're going to schedule it to where the Jags have something to play for. But that's the point,
Yes.
So I'm guessing going into today, I believe 4 AFC teams had a shot at the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
The Broncos winning out kind of fixes it all. But the Jags are one of those 4 teams. And so they will at least have the AFC South division to play for.
Yes.
Because if the Jags lose and the Texans win, I believe the Texans win the South and the Jags. Correct. So they're going to have something to play for regardless. So that's a good thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if Texans are on Saturday and then sets up the Titans Jags on Sunday.
No, those would probably be the same time.
You think so?
Yeah, that's usually how they do that.
All right. Well, hopefully
they usually don't want you to know the outcome. They don't want They don't want to have the Texans lose on Saturday, and then the Jets don't have to do anything on Sunday.
True. That's fair.
So
hey, I mean,
people ask,
hopefully it's a noon game, so we can all mercifully go away from this season.
I don't know. It could be the Titans on Saturday. The Titans are, I mean, all these games are TBD right now. So games to watch, or teams to watch. The Cardinals play the Rams, who are also the NFC the same way. Like there are 4 teams that could be the 1 seed. Entering today. The Rams play the Cardinals. Cardinals at Rams. So tough. The Raiders play the Chiefs. That is not going to matter. Let's see the other games we were talking about. The Giants host the Cowboys. That's a winnable one. And then who else did I say? The Jets go to the Bills. So really, I think you're going to pick 4th or 5th, likely.
Yeah, I think you're feeling good that you're going to realistically be locked into a top 5 pick unless something absolutely crazy happens next week, because who knows? I mean, anything could happen, I guess. We could be in for a surprise and the Titans somehow find themselves winning a game against the Jaguars. But as of right now, it feels like you're going to be locked. So you're going to be locked into a top 5 pick there, in which
even with a win, the lowest you're going to fall is 7.
True. Yes. And I mean, there will be some teams up there that we'll see how it shakes out in the end, but I would say your hopes to potentially trade back are better this week than you're feeling better about it this week than you were last week.
Yep. All right. A couple of quick things to get to here. We have our X Golf X Factor revisit, and then I think we'll look at the game, like where the Titans lost it in the probability meter. We'll do that here in a second, but shout out to X Golf. Guys, there are 4 locations in the Middle Tennessee area, in Nashville, Murfreesboro, Hermitage, and Franklin. All 4 locations will have winter leagues starting at the first week of January. And those leagues are like all 7 days, just determines on where the nearest X Golf is for you. And if you want to keep your golf game sharp during the cold winter. You can absolutely do that with X Golf. They're the best golf simulator in the industry right now and on the market right now. And they also have a great sports bar experience. It is a phenomenal place. It really is. You can just go there and just like not golf and have a great time. So maybe you have buddies or your significant other does not care about golf, but you do. Bring them. That doesn't matter. They're going to have fun at X Golf. So X Golf, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Hermitage, and Franklin. The league's getting started, so check them out at playxgolf.com's website. So playxgolf.com is the website to find out what night the league is for you. So JT, what was your X factor from the pregame show, and how did it play out?
Mine was the run game. It was Tony Pollard, which, I mean, I guess he passes, right? It was one, he didn't hit the 100 mark, but he was effective when they decided to use them. Maybe it's a fail in terms of his usage, but Tony Pollard himself was effective. It's a little bit of a byproduct of the game that they were trying to play, and just in that second half, they couldn't keep up with the Saints, which then leads them to have to play catch up, and you by default, you get away from your run game. And so I think you saw some, once again, good things from Tony Pollard. I know last week you put out a video with the chant, keep Pollard around. I'm slowly but surely coming around to that, saying, like, if you want to go into next year with Tony Pollard, I don't hate that idea at all. If this is the type of Tony Pollard you're going to get on a more consistent basis, I think he played a good game, but ultimately the X factor of leaning on that run game did not happen.
Tajay Spears has the weirdest box scores of all time.
He really does.
And like, it says it's really a detriment to his reputation. I hate it for him, because today was the fourth game this year where he has had 5 yards or less rushing. He is 4 carries, 3 yards, 3 carries, 4 yards, 2 carries minus 1 yard. Today he had 6 carries for 2 yards. And then he had 1 catch for -1. So Tajay Spears today had 7 touches for 1 yard.
Yeah.
It's like he's the meme that's like, why do you keep giving me your toughest challenges? Like every time he touches the ball, he's about to get his freaking head knocked off. Or he makes a great play and it's called back for a penalty. He either has these games
simply too shifty for the offensive lineman to really keep up with him. That's really it, because then you get the hold and then it's brought back.
But last week he had 13 carries, 52 yards, 5 catches, 53 yards. Yep. Oh, then he had 34 the week before that. Oh, okay. He has
another guy who is night and day.
But it's also like not his fault. I feel like he has no control.
Everything you're saying, I think, is absolutely fair.
Tajay Spears has 0 control over his production.
Yes,
it's wild.
I definitely think that is the most correct way to describe it. And I think it is most of all, I think it's on the coaching staff for using him in the way they use him.
Yes,
because I think there's still a lot left to be desired there that they are not tapping into.
A lot of times, like, he will get the check down pass where he's about to get obliterated at as soon as he catches it for like -1 yard. It's insane.
Yes,
it's insane. Oh man. All right. So let's check the stats here, where the Titans lost the game as far as the probability meter goes. But shout out quickly to Lipscomb University Sport Analytics. It's a grad program for you. It's a grad program if you love sports, if you're passionate about sports and you want to get into doing sports for a living. There's many, many ways you can do that, whether it's working for a media company, a team itself, a data company like BTA Sports. I'm sure X Golf, golf simulators, tech companies, they're all looking for sports analytic minds, and Lipscomb University can do that for you when it comes to their grad school program. It's all online. You can do that. It doesn't matter how old you are, what you're doing now, but if you're wanting to change it up and have that next career and chase your passion, you can do that with Lipscomb University Sport Analytics program, the grad school program online. So check them out there. So JT, do you have the meter pulled up for?
Yeah, I can pull it up right now. NFL Pro. We'll get that pulled up here right now.
I have the
if it's
I have the ESPN version one.
If it will load, that is the main
I have. All
question.
right, so I have mine. So this was in the fourth quarter. The Titans with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, up by 6. The Titans had an 80% chance to win the game.
Crazy.
With 10 minutes left, an 80% chance. And then it flips to 72% chance 5 minutes later for the Saints. So
Yes,
80%
crazy.
to 28% in 5 minutes of time in the fourth quarter.
I mean, it is. They simply could not get. You felt like they needed one more drive, one more successful drive, and they couldn't get it. And that's why you continue to see that go down and down and down. It's unfortunate, absolutely, that is how they lose this game, especially with that first half.
And they had a lot of possessions in the fourth quarter.
That just went nowhere.
Field goal. Then they got the defensive stop on the fumble, right? And then went 5 plays, 16 yards, and punted it back with the 6-point lead. Then they gave up the touchdown, 4 plays, 80 yards quickly by the Saints to score. Then they went, this is the killer, 3 plays, minus 7 yards, 128 off the clock, and you punted it. And then another one, then the touchdown. So now you're down 8. And then you go 8 plays, 27 yards, downs, which was the Cam. See, another one, Tajay, no control over his production. Cam's knee like barely hits the ground, and Tajay would have had like a 15-yard something play.
And that would have bumped the percentage back up at least 8-9 points. So,
oh yeah, for sure. They would have had 2 minutes to go and everything in front of them to try to go tie that game, and that would have been so great.
Exactly.
So it's a crazy game, but overall, I think in a weird way, it's a good day for the Titans. I think
outside of the disappointment of them letting this game slip through their fingers and collapse, you saw a lot of good things from Cam Ward. You saw what you expected from your defense, and your draft pick got better. So
if the Titans would have won today, they would have dropped to 7th.
Yes.
They lost today and jumped up 1 spot to 4th.
Correct.
Now, we'll have to keep our eye on the strength of schedule between the Titans and the Cardinals, because that could easily flip-flop 4-5, 5-4, all over the place as the rest of the games end today. So, all right. I don't see anything. No more super chats. So I think that's it for us. So look, Buck Rising will be live for AtoZSports Prime Time at some point this evening. I'm not sure exactly when Buck's going to go live. And then it's a shortened or abbreviated kind of schedule this week with New Year's Day in the middle of it. So we'll be live for sure Monday and Tuesday, and then likely Friday as well. So make sure you hit that like button, like the show, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, more content coming, AtoZSports.com/Titans for what Easton and Buck are writing this evening. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow morning on a Monday morning. Appreciate it. Hope everybody had a good Christmas weekend. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks.